We're backstage at PopFest. I'm Julia Cunningham. Kyle Anderson is here.
I am.
And legend Anne Rice has joined us on the couch, which is such an honor to be sitting with you.
Well, thank you very much.
We flanked you just in case you try and run away. We won't allow it.
Why would she run away? That doesn't. We're perfectly nice people.
I'm very happy to be here. I will not run away.
Fair enough. I mean, when you first started writing about Lestat, did you imagine that you would still be writing?
I sure didn't. I mean, it's been 40 years.
I know.
40 years this year. Not since I first started writing about him, but since it got published. The first book got published 40 years ago, Interview with the Vampire, May 1976. And no, I didn't have any idea that it was even going to grow into a series, really. I think it took off as a series 8 years later when I wrote The Vampire Lestat, the sequel to Interview with the Vampire. And then he was my hero, and the series didn't take shape, but I just wanted to do book after book with him.
Right, it just kept...
Yeah, I didn't believe in planning out a series. I mean, that didn't even occur to me. It was more just following him from book to book. Is there another book? Yes, there's got to be another book. He has more stories to tell, that type of thing.
Were there loose pages in your house where you would just sort of collect ideas and not realize this story or this character belongs to Lestat or this needs to be associated with him?
Yeah, sometimes that would happen. I'd get an idea for a book and put that bunch of ideas aside, and then later that very packet of ideas would turn out to be the perfect thing to combine with Lestat for a new story. I got an idea once about a guy being recruited by the devil to work for the devil, and I tried to make that novel work for a long time, and it didn't. And then I thought, what if this happened to Lestat? What if the devil came to him and said, come work for me, and I'm really better than God, and you'll have a better job, and you'll be more helpful. And the whole novel took shape because it was Lestat's novel suddenly, and that was Memnoch the Devil, and it was a bestseller, and it did very well. So that kind of thing did happen.
Right.
The new book is called Prince Lestat and the Realms of Atlantis. It'll be out November 29. And I'm curious, Anne, has the way that you actually do the work of writing changed a lot in these 4 decades you've been with Lestat, or do you still really work the same way that you did then?
It's changed. In some ways it stayed the same. In some ways it's completely changed. When I wrote Interview with the Vampire, I didn't really have a plan for that book. I discovered it page by page. It just developed. Now, when I sat down to write this book, I really did have a plan. I wanted to tell the story of my version of Atlantis, the Lost Kingdom of Atlantis, and I wanted to bring that story into the vampire world and have the two groups interact, the people of Atlantis as I envision them, and Lestat and all of his tribe, now that he's the prince of the tribe. And it's very different, I would say. There's more of a roadmap. I don't just go into it blind. There's an idea of a climax, of an ending, and so forth. But in some ways, it's just like it was in the beginning, in that I work page by page, and it changes page by page. The ending of this book, as it came together, really wasn't the ending I planned.
Oh, really?
No, it's the ending I discovered on the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic that you're still able to surprise yourself in that way.
Oh,
that's gotta be the thing that keeps you going, I would imagine.
Absolutely. If that doesn't work, it's lifeless. It's dead. It's the surprises that make it work. Springing up in the middle of the night and thinking, oh yeah, I know why that's going to happen. Right. And dashing into my computer and hammering away.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Does the character Lestat also still surprise you? Like when
Yeah, he does. I've never written any other character quite like Lestat. I mean, it's almost to me like channeling somebody that really exists.
Yeah.
I mean, he does really exist for me. And there are times when I can't make him come through. I may hammer away and write 30 pages, and he's just not there. And then other times he comes through loud and clear, and he won't shut up. And that's the way it is now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's back with me.
This guy.
Yes, and he has not quieted down since this novel was finished.
Oh, wow.
We're working on another novel.
Already?
Wow.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
Do you
pretty
treat
much.
it like writing as a 9 to 5? I mean, obviously it is your 9 to 5, but is it at all, it just matters, like the fury of when the words come?
No, I tell you what I want is I want a long, unbroken, uninterrupted period at the computer to work every day. But it can be flexible, whether it's morning, afternoon, or whatever. I have to sort of warm up. I have to drink coffee, watch the news, convince myself that the world is okay politically,
Right. We all do.
for a while, and then.
That's difficult lately.
Very difficult. And then I go in and get to work around midday and work all afternoon and into the evening. And the main thing for me is to complete a kind of an episode. I don't like to break off in the middle of an episode. If I do that, I pretty much have to go back to the beginning again the next day and work to completion. So it's almost like being in a series,
Yeah.
that today was this episode, and then we'll go on to the next episode from there. And I do work in straight chronological order. I go back and forth to edit and polish while I'm working, but I really do work in a straight progression.
Wow. Do you, as you now write, I mean, the same way when I hear Lestat, I do think of Tom Cruise, because his face is associated to it. Do you think that way now, too? Or have you always had a vision of Lestat?
I've always had a vision of him that came before Tom. I think Tom did a beautiful, magnificent job of Lestat. And, when Prince Lestat was announced, the novel that I did right before this one, I was very fortunate in that it made international news. And all over the world, it was pictures of Tom that were in those stories. Beautiful pictures of Tom Cruise as Lestat. And I thought, wow, I felt like, thank you for helping to make my hero.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
worked out okay for the marketing
It
department.
certainly did. It certainly did. I mean, after 20 years, that movie is
it still holds up.
Yes, and it's still surprising people. You can go on Amazon every week and find new people discovering that movie. And
and I keep reading about the potential remake, that scripts have been turned in of one eventually coming out. And
Yes, that is happening. Universal Studios and Imagine Entertainment have the rights to all the books, the whole franchise, and there is a script being developed right now. And what I'm telling you is actually in the news. It's not secret, but Josh Boone is writing the script, and Josh directed the movie Fault in Our Stars.
Yep.
And
did an excellent job. Yeah.
Yes, he did. That was a lovely movie, a wonderful movie, and I hope that we'll get the green light soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'd be curious to see a version come out today. The book is called Prince Lestat and the Realms of Atlantis. It is out on November 29th. It has been an honor to meet you. Thank you
very
so much
much
for hanging out.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it very much.
And continued coverage of EW's PopFest, so stay tuned.